Hey, hello everybody, welcome to the sound test room. Today we're going to take a good look at Mononoke from Bram Boss, which is amazing synthesizer for creating drones and soundscapes and all sorts of cool stuff in between. Right, now, it's not really like any other synth. The closest thing to hardware would be a Lyra 8. So kind of similar in architecture to a Lyra 8, but of course a lot cheaper, and it's on our iPad, so we can have many of them. Right, first off, here we can save our patches, then we can load our patches here. I've basically set this to a completely initial patch with nothing going on at all, really. So ambience is all the way turned down. The mood in the middle here, this is your kind of global effects section. The mood is set in the center, which will have no effect whatsoever. And then the fold is also set to nothing. And on both these synths, basically, I've turned the modulation down on there. Both of the synths, there's two of them, see, left and right. Both of the synths are all set the same, more or less. So the shape knob here, then the tremolo, and then vibrato, and then this is like a detuned saw wave. This has been added not too long ago. And then here you have the rates for the modulation, okay? And then you have the modulation shapes. And these are for these here. So shape, tremolo, vibrato, and D-saw, and then you have the rates, and then the shape of the rates. And then you have your envelope here, so attack and release. So easy to, if we tap on this and then take up the attack and I just hold, it attacks in. And then the release, there's always a little bit of release on there. But if we take it up, and it has a really long release time. So two synthesizers, two identical synths, each with 4 voices, and these are the voices here, okay? You can tune these exactly how you like with these here. And you also have this button here which says autofill, which you can go in and you can set your pad tuning here to whatever you like, different scales and keys. Okay, so let's see. Here we have our feedback section. This is extremely interesting and incredibly powerful. This allows you to feed back the voices into each other depending on how you have these set. And then you also have this growl and warp, which do slightly different things as well. Okay, so what's it for? Well, it's for creating soundscapes and drones. And once you understand the concept, you'll be able to create some incredible stuff. Now, Mononoke kind of wants you to explore the sound is probably the easiest way to to explain it. You explore sound, it will take you in directions and different moods and stuff like that. You know what I mean? It's very cool. Right. Let me just quickly explain the effect section. So first thing here, ambience. So ambience, it says here in the manual, ambience is a miniature version of Cosmonaut, another one of Bram's apps, but it intelligently combines multiple mechanisms for creating a wide spatial sound stage. The further the effect is increased, the further the sound stage. So if we press hold on for one of these and then increase the ambience, you hear the effect. But it sounds really, really great when you combine two. Now, quick thing about how the synth engines are basically set up. These are your lower tones, and these are an octave above. But you can, of course, tune these however you like. So in that point, they'll be the same, but they're tuned in an octave apart. So, you know, let's put this back to wherever it was. Around there, it'll be fine. And then a quick thing about feedback. So feedback, this first one, okay, the one that says 1 to 1, this works in groups. Okay, so it's a group of 2 here. And if I have both of these switched on, let's press hold. I can feed back these 2 into themselves. And if we increase the ambience, you'll hear some really cool interactions. Okay, so let's switch hold off. Then the second one here, 2 to 2, this will feed this pair into this pair. Okay, so for example, if I have 1 to 1 turned all the way up and I have this switched on, and then I hold this one, this will do nothing. Okay, however, if I turn this up now, because this is a pair and this is a pair, and we turn this feedback control up, we'll get feedback. And then the 4 to 4 will feed back the first 4 voices into the other 4 voices. And you can mix and match all this stuff, and it gets really, really cool. So when we start to experiment shortly, you'll see all this cool stuff. But it's not the idea of controlling this exactly. It's the idea of making it do stuff. But we're going to first of all listen to the oscillators. So the oscillator shapes, let's hold this. It goes from a triangle wave and then morphs all the way up to what's like a square wave. Okay, and then the next oscillator type, which was added afterwards, this is like a detuned saw. Which is a good point to show you now the cutoff here, which is a filter cutoff. And then the modulation for that cutoff, this is the amount. And this is the rate. Okay, and this is only one of these now. Tremolo, let's turn the rate up first. Vibrato, which is one of the most coolest things in Mononoke. And then if we start to use the rate for the oscillators, and they're independent, and then you have the shapes, and that's a square wave and then random. Okay, like I said, release is very cool, but of course, because we're sustaining this note. Now, also, the lower, the quieter, so moving up the pad increases velocity, and moving left and right is pitch bend. And it has full MPE control. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. And that's basically it for the oscillators. You choose what you want, and then you can control like tremolo, vibrato, and then the rates of those as well. Now, don't forget that these are 2 completely independent synths. So when you start to think about it, this becomes very, very, very powerful. Now let's take a look at the effects. So let's hold this, and let's hold this one. Okay. And let's change the shape on this second section, which is these 4 voices here. Now, like I said, this is the ambient, so none, full. The mood, let me just stop that. Actually, I'll hold them, switch the hold on, but have them quiet. If you go towards the left, the mood gets darker. If you go towards the right, the mood gets brighter but more aggressive. So darker mood, really aggressive. Okay. And fold, when mood is in the center, it's switched off. You see no light, green light, red light, center, off, back off the ambience. Whatever this is set at, fold will fold. Right, let's turn them up. Fold will fold these two back into themselves. So it will fold the mood back into the ambience. And if we move the ambience and the mood, and now before we start to kind of play around with it, I will also show you the warp and the growl. So first, growl. So this is like when you switch it on, this is what it'll fit. This is the default setting. Let's turn these off. This is the default. So it says here, this is, it tends to add overtones to the bass frequencies of the voices. The louder the voices are played, the more audible the frequency content will be generated. Generally, bass frequencies of the voices will remain intact at low moderate feedback settings, so tuning your oscillators will be fairly stable. And then the warp engine, the warp feedback system will whack the individual oscillators with incoming feedback signal. At high frequencies, this will sound very similar to the growl algorithm, but at low frequencies, it will destabilize the oscillator and cause wild changes within the main frequency. So the stronger the incoming signal, the stronger the effect on the stability of the oscillators, basically. So we can look at both of those. Let's just bash on a couple of these and play around with the warp and the growl with the feedback. So we have and then warp. You can see where you can get really crazy with this, right? So I'm just going to reset. I'll double tap everything to reset. A couple of more things. The fine tune in the middle, it is what it is. Double tap to reset. And then if you go into free mode, you'll see that the note names will disappear and you are basically just free to do what you like with the notes. Right, now, I think we're pretty much done. I will just show you the parameters that are exposed in case you want to use an LFO to modulate anything. You have absolutely everything available to modulate. So you can modulate literally the whole thing. Okay, so let's create some interesting, let's create an interesting patch. Or We can go into autofill and choose a key. So I'm going to go with initial minor harmonic, and I'm going to go with A minor harmonic, and then just go tune, and it will tune everything up to A minor harmonic. But it's still basically my default settings. If you want to load stuff, it comes with a bunch of really cool, I've got some, they're my user patches, sorry. But it comes with a bunch of stuff to get you started or just to play around with. For instance, look at this desolate rhythm, and we will just hit hold on a few of these. Now you can play, if I stop using the mouse and play these pads with my fingers. But look, let's load an initial patch. If we go with init, you'll get some, it won't be like my init. It's got some stuff going on, some ambience. Let's make a patch, shall we? So let's bring up this D-saw. Let's add some vibrato. This is just this one note now. Loads of ambience, I think. Let's a little tiny bit of fold. Let's darken the mood. Let's increase some more modulation for the cutoff. And increase the rate it does. This won't make much difference because we're holding. This is more if the envelope's obviously more if you're just kind of playing it. Let's add a note in up here. Let's play with the shape. Make it more towards triangle. Let's modulate it. Bit of vibrato on this side as well. So don't forget you've got 4 notes each side. Switch them all on, eh? Don't forget, controlling the volume is pretty straightforward. Start feed. So everything's switched on, so all these feedbacks are going to be doing stuff. Or let's use the warp. How cool is this? Change key anytime you like. So Awesome. And then when you're happy, so when you're happy, you can save it. So save it as I don't know, test patch, and then just hit OK. And we'll be in our user patches now. So test patch should be down there. There it is. So I've done quite a few of these over things. I've actually done hundreds, but never saved them. I go into this one, which is called Ghosts. So it makes use of the vibrato on this side, but keeps this side as a drone. So that's another tip you can do. So if we switch these off, that vibrato is going to disappear. And now we're just droning. But I'm using a lot of feedback. So feeding these pairs back into themselves. Lovely. I tell you what, I kid you not, guys. Seriously, you can spend absolutely hours with Mononoke. Just let it take you on a journey. That's a really cool thing. It just let it, you know. Because the unpredictability of it can you know, it's just great. It's just absolutely great. Always loved Mononoke. It's got a few new features added a couple of years ago. The fold feature and a detuned saw wave. There's another extra oscillator that you can play with. But to reset all this stuff is dead easy. It's dead simple, you know, just to get back to kind of basic set mood in the middle. Make sure your turn your release down, turn your attacks down, turn all the rates down, turn vibrato off. You can set, I mean, if this is all now, as this is all going to be just, this side's got some release still on it and attack. So, and then from there, the sky's literally the limit. You can go bonkers. And don't forget, you can modulate absolutely everything. You can also have as many of these going as you want, tuned to keys that are going to work with each other or the same key, whatever you like. Or you can freely tune them and go nuts. Guys, Mononoke or Mononoke, Mononoke, I don't know the correct pronunciation. It is awesome though. Thank you so much for watching. If you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. I will put a link in for Mononoke in the description below. And yeah, have fun. That's the most important thing. Have fun. You might, if you watch any of my live streams, when I do the experimental stuff, I use Mononoke a lot to create drones and things. But God, it's such cool. It's very cool beans, I meant to say. Anyway, see you guys later. Ta-da.